That's okay.
It's for the grant. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's actually to change the sunset date on the grant. We're under construction, but we were supposed to be done the 21st, but our architect was tied up due to COVID, so we couldn't get their stuff. But as you can see, we're moving forward.
Yeah, we have a few of the COVID issues still in our skid or our items here, so we'll get to more of those. Resolution, item number 7 is a resolution rescinding an older resolution. This is for the fees on the Hellsport Community Center. And then we have a pay estimate number 1 for Tri-Valley Construction, and that's for the taking down the Hicks house. Construction program, our annual striping contract. They had some non-working days due to wind and weather last week. This week they're starting on the west end. Old Mountain Road, we had other issues that delayed the contractor from starting this week, and so they will start. Their plan is to start next week. Roosevelt drainage repair, contractor is struggling to get materials, all of his materials, but that's kind of the norm these days. Hopefully, as soon as they get those, they'll start. I'm not sure when that'll be. I don't think they had an ETA on materials.
No,
yet.
Not yet.
Let's see, grant funded edge line. Let's see, that's on your agenda. Grant funded signs and guideposts. Still in the process with that one. Courtney Road, just waiting on a few minor items. Our deviation from WashDOT, still haven't heard back on that yet. We provided them additional information, but we're waiting on them to make a final decision.
What happens if they say no?
There are no other options. I don't know what they would have us do. So in this case, you can leave it as it was, or you can fix it. So
I would think the fix is way preferable.
yeah, to what
Is less of the old is more of a deviation from standard than what we're proposing.
Yeah, and it's just not possible.
Yeah.
You can't improve it because of the archaeological things that prevent us from doing that. Otherwise, we might still be there if we could have done that.
Right.
So let's see.
Yeah, sometimes it's a scary question to ask.
Yeah,
What if they say no?
I think we're assuming that they will say yes. It just
Takes time.
yeah, they have to have enough paperwork to make them feel comfortable with what we're doing. So, because basically they're approving it even though I stamped it. So I understand. Let's see, our paving projects, they're on ad, and bid opening for those should be next week on Tuesday. And we have 3 bidders, large paving contractors signed up. So we should have good competition and should get good bids. Guardrail repair. So every year we have to repair guardrail that's damaged over the winter, and that'll open next week as well. Maintenance side, we're getting ready for chip sealing. So the east end guys are still crack sealing and then cleaning under the guardrail on Roosevelt Grade Road. They get quite an accumulation of sand underneath there throughout the winter, since that's a heavily used route by those in that area as well as the landfill.
How do they clean that up under a guardrail?
It's kind of labor intensive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking water cannon off a fire truck as you're going by would be the best way, but I would imagine they're out there with brooms and shovels.
Yeah, they scoop some of it. They use the skid steer some where they can. But yeah, you're right. It's labor intensive. Some places, some property owners are okay with us just shoving it over. Some not so much.
Oh, I never thought of that.
You know, we
Yeah.
just give it to the
Blast it
neighbor.
over the
Yeah.
side.
Here, it's yours now. Thank you. We'll be back next year with more.
Yeah. West End crews are patching, so patching still in Glenwood and Trout Lake area. Facility side, I haven't been over to the building for about 3 weeks, so I'll head over there today. I'm sure they've gotten a lot more done.
And we have visitors coming in. We should have, I don't think we asked. We have the Wasack president is going to be here, and Eric is shepherding him around. And we had offered to give him a tour of the building. They're going to be here about 11:30.
Okay.
And we're going to have lunch with them, but what it would work best, is it better to have us go to lunch and then do a little tour after, understanding we have to be back by 1?
Yeah.
Or just do the tour at 11:30, just a quick walkthrough. We have to just rub their nose in.
11:30 probably be best.
Okay.
Or at lunchtime, there's, everybody takes a break at lunch.
Right.
So there's less going on inside the building and outside. So up to you.
11:30 or 12:30, your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, it's kind of cool to see stuff happening, but that would be my preference, but
Sure.
but it is, we have to kind of work around people. But yeah, let's just do it first thing. Let's
Okay.
haul them over there, and
Okay.
then if they're late, oh well, we'll go without them. No lunch today.
You missed it.
You missed it.
Here on
Sorry.
time.
Yeah,
How many,
so there's 2.
2 of them? Okay. I'll bring the hard hats and this.
Okay, that would be
And
great.
you guys all still have
I
the
got
gear?
one in my office, I believe.
Okay. Okay. The one big thing that is gonna happen this week, I know for sure, a Friday, they're gonna grind the north lane on Court Street. And our crews are gonna actually take that material, the grindings, and we'll use those. I think it's out at SDEM,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, we'll put them on the road later, but right now we're
You'll store them out there.
yeah. We'll store them on the road.
yes, they'll be eventually
Yeah.
stored on the road.
Yeah, eventually it'll be
Yeah.
stored,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not next week.
No, not next week.
Yeah.
But
Stored on the road. I like that. We're just storing it.
All right. Courthouse entry, I'll let Jeff tell you what they'll do.
As you can hear, and I told them, let's calm down a little bit. Let's not get too carried away. We did take away, like I told you last week, we're gonna take out the north landing, and we did. And we talked to everybody, so they're gonna continue on that. And they'll start backfilling. Basically what happened is they ran out of work because I wasn't gonna say it's okay for you to backfill against green concrete.
Right.
So they're waiting for their concrete wall and everything to cure, and then they can backfill, then they'll start pouring the steps back up.
Do you didn't do cylinders on?
Yes, we did.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It
The structural-
This is government work.
Yeah, the structural stuff, we won't do the flat work stuff because it's not as big a thing, but the structural stuff, oh yeah, we did
Okay.
cylinders. Yes, the first break was 4,200, I think the second one was 3,500. I mean, the different, all the retaining walls we did break, so.
Okay, cool.
All right. Indoor arena, I don't know if you talked about this.
Yeah, we replaced the covers. We're finishing those off this week.
And then the Pioneer Center, we actually are starting this month. We'll start painting the west side of the building. So we're kind of doing that. We did some last year and now painting another side this year, and we'll keep working our way around. The other thing they're doing is the Starlings just tear that, all the vent blocks up over there. And I don't know if you've heard over the years, the complaints from health, the birds seem to migrate over there when they get in, and then they get stuck up there and they die, and sometimes they fall through the ceiling, or we find them.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're trying to prevent that, but they're destructive birds. So it's a challenge. It's been a challenge. Radio sites.
Yeah, part of the reason we're painting now also is we have to rent a lift for the radio site to make the transfer. So we're going to use that same lift to paint, because you rent it for 3 weeks. The fourth week is basically free anyway, so we'll keep it the full month. And we're doing that move, like I told you, on the 9th. I haven't heard back from SADA. I'm gonna start chasing that guy around again to see where we are with negotiations on SADA's matters. And as far as follow-ups, I gave you the 3. We just went out and kind of looked at what people are doing, and we came up with just 3 options. If somebody has a different one, or would like to choose, or to replace, you know, what we have on ours, which now say masks are required in the building. The one that explains the employees is kind of nice, a little bit more reading. I don't know if people get that far.
That's my choice.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like that too. That's the most information. Again, I can't, we're just putting it on the door.
At
And,
least demand.
yeah, and the least demand, right? It's more of
Yeah.
an explanation than a.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, we'll swap that one for this one then.
That's it for us.
3 weeks and that's it?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
We covered everything when he was gone, so it's all done.
Everything's all fixed, done, no worries.
We don't have anything else.
I was gonna say, that's the shortest briefing for you guys ever.
It is, that's pretty short.
Yeah.
All this time.
Well, before you got back, he was bringing in cupcakes for us.
Yeah.
Is that right?
We got no breakfast, you got no briefing, you get.
We did it all.
I don't know if I have the hard hat in my office.
Did you pawn another one?
Huh?
Did you pawn another one?
I thought I gave it back to him right then and there.
I would go with that. That's a
That's a
plausible
good answer.
explanation.
That's plausible deniability, right?
Yeah, better check and make sure I didn't do that too. I've been over there since a couple times, so.
You're fascinated by that building, aren't you?
Well, that's my field. I love that stuff, so. I'm always interested because it's a little, it's a much bigger, it's an order of
Well,
magnitude bigger than I ever built. And I'm always
since we-
kind of curious what the techniques of the tradespeople is,
Yeah,
how it's different.
it is different.
It is
A lot of
different.
things are different.
A lot.
Since we have like extra time on your agenda and we're done talking, and I mentioned it to Gordy that it's been brought up to me by people in the city that they would like to see some murals on some of the walls. And my thinking about it was, I hate to give somebody a wall and say they're seeing a mural, because if you don't like it, you're kind of stuck with it. I like the idea of, no, paint me a picture that I go, yeah, I like that, put that on there. Approach of whether it's, our county, whether it's wheat fields and a swather out there going through a wheat field on one wall, and a waterfall in Trout Lake on a different wall, and, just thinking outside the box versus plain boring walls in like that main lobby area.
I was wondering if you're talking outside or inside.
Oh, no, not on the outside, no, the main.
I was thinking the
lobby area,
downs, there's
maybe
murals
hallways.
everywhere.
No,
Yeah.
no.
For what we paid for
I'm
those
not that
bricks.
extreme. No, so I wanted to throw that out there
Okay.
because I think if it's something that we were interested in doing, it would be way easier to do before we moved in.
And one of the things we kind of have kicked around the same idea is that maybe we approach it like it's a contest and people have to actually submit, and there is some, that either there is or there isn't some kind of financial prize, and then they get to, whether it's
right.
painted on a canvas or they paint it on the wall, something, but
As long as I get to see it first.
yes, you
You know.
see what they're gonna do,
Uh-huh.
and then you select somebody from that, or more than one somebody's, I don't know.
We had a conversation last week about the public health building over there and tearing that down, turning it into a parking lot. Somebody called in during open public comment. Was that part of our requirement that we tear it down and turn it into a parking lot?
It is part of our parking plan. So a lot of our county vehicles and kind of overflow parking, that's
buses.
part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was a requirement or if it was just kind of our plan.
The city came back with, at first it wasn't a requirement. I think it was like 325 spots. And so we're around 300, but our actual zoning requirement is, since we're in the central business district, it's 0, but we're not doing 0. So we tried to get close to that number. And we looked at all of our available property that didn't have a house or a business or something on it. And we ended up buying the one house and 2 vacant lots. One was already a parking lot, and then the other was just a vacant lot. And then the plan was our overflow would be Annex 1. And with the possibility, because we do have a need for almost, for seniors, almost like a place where they can clean, do we put some kind of a garage there that allows us to get a lot of our equipment, gas powered equipment, out of the basement.
Because
of the
here they have
courthouse.
covered storage.
Right.
They're covered,
Yeah, so we need some more space, but that seemed to be the most economical because of the cost. Because when we originally started, the cost to do anything with Annex 1 was expensive. I mean, it's had a lot of deferred maintenance.
I guess
Let's
that would bring up my question. If somebody asked me, what's the cost to bring that building up to where you could feel comfortable, let's say, just wild hair, running a childcare out of it, what's the cost?
I think we had just initially this kind of drove us to look at and do a feasibility study. Does it make sense to stay there or not? And we were, we got the roof, the HVAC units, it's all single pane windows, all that. So the cost was about $2.5 million just to do.
I was thinking it was like 2.9.
Yeah,
You
just
still have the old building.
then you still have the old building.
Yeah.
You get no improvements. There's no ADA functionality. I mean, it's an old building. And it's expensive and you don't really gain anything.
It would cost you about as much to fix the old building as it would to build a new one.
Yeah, and I think when we looked at making those other improvements to Annex 1 where it would be more functional, and you could actually, not just the outside and the deferred maintenance items, but to make it usable, remodel it, it was about 6.9 million, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So it's expensive.
Hence how we.
And yeah, that's how we got here.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the question was raised about, is it a requirement? Not that we would necessarily update and do anything, but if we didn't need it for parking and we just surplused it as a building and somebody else took it, is that even an option that would be on the table? At this point, my understanding was, I think we need the park, and that was part of.
It would be a struggle, I think, to get all the vehicles and all the people here, especially at times when there's jury. Jury's kind of our maximum.
As we've seen.
And that's the pinch.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
So what do you guys think about the mural thing, not backtracking? I just don't want to take it too long. If it's something we want to do, I think it's something we should start planning and getting around before it's too late to do it, so. Or think about it, and we'll bring it
No,
up.
I mean, we have one at the Pioneer Center. There's one on one wall. I think something tasteful.
Tasteful community, yeah.
That reflects the community, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it gives some ownership of the
What
building.
is
to
the one at the
community,
Pioneer
too.
Center?
It's of like a mountain man in I guess a
Pioneer scene.
pioneer,
Yeah.
yeah, like a pioneer. Yeah, it's the Pioneer Center, so it's like the mascot, I guess. I'll call it,
Yeah.
in a setting on one, when you come in the main entrance up on the side wall that you can see from either floor. So I don't know.
I'd be interested to see what people come up with.
Come
as
up with.
ideas.
Community outreach.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Worst case scenario, 10 people submit things and we go, yeah, we went a different direction.
Yeah, we went in
Yeah.
that direction. Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Big pot.
Yeah, yeah. A big clock. Sorry, that's what we ended up with.
Yeah.
This was the winner.
We decided to go with eggshell white.
Yeah, eggshell white. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay, well, we can start putting some
Yeah,
ideas
maybe some
together
ideas
and
together of how we would do the, are there, it should be open to anybody in the whole.
I just make it county, or what if somebody from the Dalles was interested? I don't care either way, so I'm just bringing this.
Well, I mean, if it's supposed to be. I guess is it the piece of art when it's done that we're concerned about, it being the scene is something that's about the county versus the people actually doing it, I
Right.
guess. So I guess I'm more concerned about the scene.
Right.
Not necessarily who did it. It would be nice if it was a.
Yeah,
I would
citizen,
agree, maybe
but-
leave a bonus point to
Yeah.
open it up for everybody and we want to know where their address is.
Their community.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
I'm learning, don't, a little too much information to be now that we're live,
okay.
so, okay. Challenge will be what's tasteful and what's not, that's a.
I had the beholder, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Anything else? Nope.
Welcome back.
all right, thank you. See you again at 11:30.
Yeah.
It works now.
Oh, yeah. Catching up.
Right.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jeff.
How you doing?
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
No, I would say only, no. Thank you. I don't know, we're figuring it out.
It's been 5 weeks already.
I know.
Hey,
I know there's a few of them, it seems like, yeah, weren't you here last week?
I know. Well, maybe for something else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I was, actually, but another regular board update. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll start out this morning with the consent agenda. Don't know if you've been made aware, I have one item on your consent agenda. And there was a miscommunications about the total cost of that.
Yeah, just a slight difference.
Yeah.
Just an order of magnitude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was super happy when I read the original one. Not so happy when I got.
Smoke a deal.
yeah.
Don't set
You
expectations
thought,
so low.
you thought we were gonna get more than one radio out of that,
Well, no, it said 13 radios.
I know.
$2,495.
no way. Yes, so
It seems too good to be true, it probably is.
that
Tell
falls
me
in.
it's grant money anyway.
Yes,
See,
the
there
good
I see.
news is it is state homeland security money will be reimbursed for in total, the radios and the programming and so on.
I'm much happier. now.
Where the 13 radios going to?
Trout Lake Fire District 1. Yes, they've been struggling for quite some time and come to me over the last 3 years. And it started out as a conversation about how they use our radio system and the use of the operations channels for working channels and being able to scan so they can get back to dispatch and so on and
That's
so forth.
interesting. I figured the fire district would have to pay for their own, or get a community
they
development
can.
block grant or something. This is
See,
interesting.
yeah, that's what the emergency management program grants are there for, if there's specific needs.
What do you do with the old radios, say either from them or, the jail changed theirs out, whatever, those all go up for the option?
And that's what this was originally, this grant was originally written for, is for the jails and, or the corrections officers and the reserve deputies to get new portables. The sheriff found another source of funding, so then I went to the Fire District 1 and said, hey, there's a possibility here, and they were like, yeah. But we don't take possession of their radios. That's in their inventory, so they will surplus those or whatever they choose to do. And this isn't enough to fully equip all our folks.
Yeah, I was gonna say 13 doesn't include everybody out there. does it?
No, we usually just have 2 or 3 in a vehicle and.
But for their emergency medical service response, so their EMTs, they, often will respond POV personally on vehicles. So then they have their own portables and that sort of thing. But yeah, we, as the grant agency, we assign them to the fire district, so they sign off, but it stays in our inventory, and we have to track it through the grant management program because it's a FEMA grant that's passed through the state. So, yep. But yeah, the good news is that there's no county dollars being spent there. It'll all be reimbursed.
So what happens if one of them gets lost then?
They just report that to us. Every 2 years, we have to do an inventory report,
Okay.
checking in with them, same as we do with any other agency we've given equipment to use. And then we report that to, we document that. And when we do our reporting to the state, and that's reflected in that report.
Yeah, pretty much everything you'll get used to, I'll be asking, is this grant money or is this county money?
Well, as I don't know, there's a huge percentage of my department that is grant funded, both on the emergency management side and the 911 side. So, yep. Therefore, it was first on my list to talk to you because I thought there might be some questions. Anything else? Okay, dive right into the public safety radio system. At this time, it is functioning normally. Had some issues throughout since the last time I was here. It didn't list them individually, nothing major, no system issues that affected users except for one of the users, well, probably more than one, but one specifically that had an open microphone for quite some time and was traveling along Highway 14 and then up Highway 97 until I was able to get through to them. And they figured out it was that. That's a difficult thing to deal with. And it was on the law channel. So we dispatch switched the law users over to county ops until we could get it cleared up. It was one of the longest we've ever had. That's problematic. So, and we still don't know who it is.
I was guilty of that for 2 minutes once, so I feel their pain.
Yep. Nobody's admitted to it yet. On the maintenance side, the facilities preventative maintenance contractor is going to start their visits probably next week, maybe the 3rd week of June. But all the snow seems to be retreating quickly, so they can get to all of our sites. Is the process of figuring out when to schedule that. I look at the cameras at Flat Top because that's the last site we can get into due to snow. And that security fence is significantly damaged this year. I know I've reported that before, but as the snow went away, because I could only see half of it last time I was here, now it's all visible. And I've asked that contractor to look at that and give me his recommendations, and document it, photograph it, and send me a report. So we'll see what comes of that. We'll be looking into options for the repair of that fence in such a way that we might not have this happening all the time.
Yeah, because we're spending quite a bit every year on repairs, and it's like there should be some solution.
Yeah, we skipped last year because it wasn't bad enough that we thought it was a serious security risk. But
how many feet of fencing are we talking here?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
20 by 20 space or
No, it's probably more like
40 by 40. So I'll be working on that, and like I said, more permanent solutions like we talked about last year in our discussions. Different type of fencing that isn't susceptible to that snow load and being run over by snowmobiles. So the sustainable funding recommendations projects is on hold just due to lack of my staff time to be able to get to that in my current staff situation. Radio site lease agreements, been doing a lot of work on those recently. The Golgotha site sublease agreement with Benton County finally came through. It is a significantly different agreement than it has been in the past. It's all because Benton County has not followed up in past years, and evidently the landowner, the prime land lease has been changed, and the landowner is demanding a share of the subleases. So we're going from paying nothing a year to paying $11,567.71 per year going forward, and that will go up. Yes, but there's no choice there unless we wanted to go into a land lease agreement with the property owner and build our own site from scratch, which is multi-million-dollar deal, most likely, or at least just over $1 million, I would say. So that's just an update come budget season, and that'll have to be added to our budget for the radio system costs. The Juniper Point site and land lease with NSC Smelter LLC is also up for renewal by June 30th. I've been going back and forth for months with the landowners representatives, and finally made some headway, made direct contact with the principal for that company. And last Thursday, I believe it was, Wednesday or Thursday, had a good conversation. So we're on a much better path up until the point, which is going to be news to all of you, that we might just do an extension of the current lease. They have considerations that they need for the projects that they're considering on their property there. The old aluminum site down below and the hill up above. A couple things in the pipeline for them, and they want to have the maximum amount of flexibility going forward. So that's why we're going to try and enter into like a 2-year lease until those projects can be determined by them. But Scott Tallman was great to talk to, and once we got one-on-one with each other, it was much better. So I'm happy with where we are now. The Indian Hill site sublease with Hood River County and the Sheriff's Office 911 dispatch. They're part of their public safety radio system now. And they've experienced some problems getting their system up and running. So we've had a delay in getting exactly what they have put into our site, and so that we can charge them appropriately. So that's been a little delayed, but we got that information to our tier 3 maintenance provider last week, finally, after months of waiting. And so we should be able to move forward with that sublease agreement with Hood River County sooner rather than later. On the public safety radio project, the Klickitat site upgrade, the cutover from the current equipment location to the new radio room is scheduled for next Wednesday, June 9th. I am still in the process of determining and being able to develop a radio system users operational plan so that we avoid any downtime during that.
Yeah, how
Can't be
long do
off
you
there.
think it will be? Is the
Can't be. 911 call comes in, we've got to be able to dispatch it, page it to the fire or EMS, and communicate with them on a dispatch channel. There are no options because that site is, or that location is not served by any other sites to any degree that you can count on. is spotty coverage in a mobile application with a 100-watt radio.
So, but what is the plan? I mean, because how do you literally switch one to the other? There's,
So the radio technicians and engineers that work together, I've been brought in it here at the last minute to determine exactly how it works in our system, how we use our system, but we will move equipment 1 or 2 channels at a time. So we will move users from their normal dispatch and page channels over to an alternate.
okay.
And then move those, and then move them back about 3 rotations.
Okay.
So hopefully it's not a busy day in dispatch,
Right.
but it will become one because of all the moving of responders on the radio system. Yes. And to accomplish that, we pre-built the new radio room with the equipment that's needed, using some of our spares, purchasing new battery banks for power, because all of our equipment runs off 48-volt DC, not off the grid directly. So, and anything that isn't spares that is in the current location that we don't need in the new one, and it's still in good working order and not aging out, we will use that SATUS pass. So that gives us even more flexibility to be able to make those moves and not have to expend a bunch of money on extra equipment to pre-build a new space. So
Okay.
it's working out to our advantage to have SATUS pass still in the development stage for this purpose. Any questions about that? Okay. The 911 call taking, public safety radio dispatching. I was not able to put together a call volume report for you. I'm sorry. Just didn't.
It's okay, we understand.
We understand.
Okay.
Totally understand, don't miss
All right.
it.
Okay.
You were needed elsewhere.
Yes, sir. Staffing, we've had actually, I'll strike that. The first bullet is not one casual position, that it should be one full-time position. My mistake. We've had that position out to advertising for just over a month now, and I've only received 3 applications. So early last week, I instructed my staff to advertise again more broadly. We're trying to get it into some of the trade websites and social media and all those kinds of things, because we just don't have a deep enough pool.
Right.
And
It could be somebody is thinking about relocating.
Yeah.
They're already in the business, and oh look, I could move to Klickitat.
it's happened before.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. And
They had a particularly bad day at work, and they say, "Hey, look,
right, exactly.
I need healthcare.
I need healthcare."
There you go. I want to live someplace that isn't rioting all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I'm dispatching. Yeah, that I'm not. Yeah.
But because of the time that it takes to vet the applications and go through the interview process and all that, I'm choosing to hold off until we get a deeper pool and maybe some more relevant qualifications out of those people. Because right now we have nobody with relevant experience or training of any kind. And then we still have 1 casual communications officer in training. And we just released a full-time comms officer from training, doing very well. Very happy with that. If you're not aware, it's for the sheriff to report, but if you're not aware, we had a significant incident, I'll say, in the county over the weekend with a pursuit and a standoff, shots fired and all. And our newest communications officer and our, how do I say this without being politically incorrect, our longest standing, most senior dispatcher were both on duty at the time. And the newest dispatcher called out the pursuit, and according to my senior dispatcher, did a wonderful job. So happy about that, and had no doubts. I'm very confident in her abilities. And and we're gonna do our best to get the two of them into the debriefing for that incident that I've heard the sheriff is conducting. So we'll try to schedule around that when we have a time and location.